and welcome into the Game Pants Esports Arena. Tonight, we've got some Overwatch on our hands, and we're going to start in a place that probably not many people expected us to go. We're going to go down to Missouri for a pair of high school teams, Ozark and Hickman, taking place in an Overwatch game in the Missouri High School Esports Organization between these two teams. And then we'll get into Boise State and Midland in Overwatch later tonight. But we're going to go first to some high school action between Ozark and Hickman. I am Michael Fisher, joined by Colby D'Angelo Alloway to call all of the high school action. And D'Angelo, you know, it's as weird as it is to be going to Missouri. We were talking about this. This is a state that has insane collegiate programs. I mean, Mizzou, Boise State fans are definitely familiar with them. And then Maryville's a top-ranked school in several different esports. So it kind of makes sense that we're actually going to Missouri because this state clearly loves their esports.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And you would expect high school level to be a little bit different than the collegiate level, but actually because it's Missouri where the esports scene is so vibrant and is so competitive, I actually do think we should be in for some reasonable action tonight. I do think it won't be anything to sneeze at.
Yeah, I mean, these are the kids that, 3-4 years could be at Mizzou, could be at Maryville. Hey, maybe even Boise State might say, hey, come on over to Boise State, join us here and help our Overwatch team. But it's always exciting to see the new sign of faces that you're going to see somewhere in the collegiate level, you would think. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, this is a state that loves their esports. You'd have to think the play is going to be incredibly high. I mean, they have their own high school esports organization, so you already know that they take themselves very seriously. So I'm excited to kick things off. I'm excited to see what the high school game looks like, if it is, just an absolute kill fest, if it's going to look closer to maybe something the collegiate level where it's a bit slower. But I'm still excited, and you'd have to think the meta is going to be just all over the place. I would not be shocked if we see basically every champion at this point, because they are still high schoolers. They're probably a bit reckless, and they probably don't stick to the meta as easily as the collegiate players do.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That would be fantastic. And, we have a hard enough time trying to get collegiate Overwatch players to play on meta, so it should be interesting to see what high school programs come up with. But I am really excited.
As you see there, the Tigers taking on the Q-Pies. That is apparently a doll. The Hickman Q-Pies, the only high school in the country to have that mascot, so it definitely is unique. There's probably about 200 Tigers, so at least creativity points go over to Hickman, but we'll have to see if that translates into the game. As we said, Missouri High School Esports Association, going to be Ozark and Hickman. Doc's keys to the game for both squads: win the first fight, stabilize and reset if needed, melt the same target, and tanks take up space. Brought to you by Count, whose Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables a personalized customer experience for more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. If you want to stay safe online, check them out at count.com. That's KOUNT.com. And D'Angelo, I think that second bullet point's what I want to watch the most. Are we going to see resets? Because that's something Boise State struggled with. That is something that comes with the maturity of saying, hey, I'm not going to 1v6 clutch this. So I'm going to be curious to see if we see teams sort of throw because one or two players just keep throwing themselves into the fight.
Yes, the classic, do we reset or do we repeatedly stagger into them? Well, I do believe that if Boise State, as a learning team, was able to get better, and so was the other team that they were up against, I do believe that these people have a really good chance as well.
Kick things off here. Does look like it's a little bit of standard heroes from both sides. The Symmetra, though, on Mecha base is a little bit confusing to me. It's not really a great place to teleport in. We'll have to see how Hickman wants to handle it. You see right now they did get at least a little bit early into the fight. Winter Sniper's going to take down Crackle, so that's already a Ryan down for Ozark, and you can see the Q-Pies pushing their advantage all the way into the spawn. Looks like they are going to get down another take. September is going to go down as well. Winter Sniper's going to make it a triple kill for him, and that's quite a start for Hickman.
That was actually quite fantastic there. The Q-Pies with their little nightmare mascot seem to be doing an amazing job. Ooh, we even have a little bit of a hard stagger on the Ana, which will actually be huge and give them an extra 7 seconds to set up and continue to do things in the fight here.
Yeah, it's going to allow Thunder to get those sentry turrets set up in the doorway, so it is going to be on the Ozarks to handle them right now, though the Tigers can't even get out of their own spawn, let alone deal with those sentry turrets. You can see all of them extremely low. No one on Hickman besides Frosted Flake taking any sort of damage. That is immediately healed back up. You can see Crackle has been taken down. We're trying to see if there's going to be another pick. Looks like YAW might be the next target, and right now for Ozarks, they really just cannot find a way to get in on Hickman.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because they're coming through two doorways into Symmetra, Reinhardt, Zarya, Moira, and so that is a struggle for several reasons. Namely, because some of the most competent brawl heroes in the game.
Another one's going to go down onto Y, and then immediately a 3-man Riptire from Buzzer King. That's a team kill for Hickman.
That is a very clean team kill there with only half coming from the tire. And to be completely honest, they're at such an ultimate disadvantage they can't even count on a big team-wiping ultimate to get through this doorway. They're just going to have to try to either brute force or completely switch comps and try some other strategy.
They're going to be walking into a Coalescence and a Photon Barrier. They have a Shatter if they can find it. As you can see, Crackle's trying to get there. Buzzer King first one to get an elimination once again. Photon Barrier is going to go down right in that doorway, and that's going to stop the Ozarks from getting any sort of push. They haven't even gotten out of their spawn. Another elimination going to go on to Y. Crackle going to go down. He finally picks up an elimination onto Thunder, but it seems like it's a little bit too late. Resurrection's going to go out onto the Reaper, but you can see they still really are waiting on 2 other members, and they've got one last fight to make it work.
Yes, absolutely, and I don't think the Mercy is getting a ton of value. She's certainly not helping them push out of spawn, but she's probably not the only issue there as well.
Crackle gonna go down Y as well. We saw the Valkyrie came out, did not even matter. Hickman absolutely just running through Ozark. They never even got out of their spawn after the first fight. I mean, that was how dominant that performance was.
Oh yes, absolutely. That was a fantastic performance, and the reason it worked is because they're sitting Brawl Comp at a doorway. So you have the Symmetra, you have the Reinhardt, you have the Zarya, you have the Moira to just infinitely sustain all of that. You're definitely not going to be able to out-brawl that with a Mercy. And we did see the Echo swap towards the end, and we did see the Reaper get some value, but ultimately they just weren't going in at the same time to be able to push through that very small choke into that very dangerous Brawl Comp.
I am shocked to see that Hickman has taken off of, or gone off of the Symmetra. This is usually the map, Angelo, where we see Symmetra shine, and we've seen Boise State do an excellent job of getting up there. So I'm surprised that Thunder went on to the Reaper. So now you have the Somber Reaper, something we see Boise State pull a ton out of on the side of Hickman. Doesn't look like the Ozarks have changed for much of their comp. We're going to see a hack onto Y. He's going to be immediately taken down by Buzzer King. Another one going to go on to Little as well. And without any DPS, the Ozarks could just pray. They're going to lose another one onto Cyclone, and that's going to be a pushback.
Yes, and it's very obvious that Hickman is the more comfortable college, not only in terms of meta, but in terms of map knowledge, because their comps are just so much better, well-rounded, and so much better put together. So they didn't go for a Symmetra on this point, but they're going for more tanks, and they're going for a Sombra who's never really bad in most metas, to be honest, with coordinated teams. So it's not necessarily a bad pick. It's actually working really, really well for them, and I do believe we'll see a similar spawn camp here.
Doesn't look like it. Ozark even knows that Buzzer King's behind him. They are going to get the shield coming out from Crackle, but an elimination is going to go down on the Little, and he's going to be able to teleport away. Nearly has the EMP. He does see the swap from Cyclone going to go on to the Baptiste. Rez going to come out, so it's going to be a 6v6. Buzzer King's got the EMP basically ready to go in on the back line, so the Ozarks have to be careful. There it is. It's going to land onto all 5 members. The only one who isn't getting hacked is the first one to go down, but the rest of the team joining him very quickly. 4 make it 5. Can Kermo spray get away? Yes, he can. That EMP, as you talked about, always a solid ult, and that was a fight winner.
Oh yes, absolutely. When you just EMP into the middle of them and you just proceed to murder them all, I think Hickman is just completely hitting them when they're absolutely not ready.
That was a perfect example of that. Lil didn't even turn around for Buzzer King. He's in on the back line. He's going to get away, but not before he picks up one. Y going to be taken down as well by Kirby 8B, and you can see the Hickman once again starting to push their advantage. Buzzer King going to get another one, already up above 60% on his ultimate, and he EMP'd last fight. He's going to get another kill onto Crackle. Can he add his 4th elimination of this engagement onto Septemq? Doesn't look like he's able to get it for now. There, he's able to get it. He's basically going to have EMP for any fight that comes up.
Oh yes, absolutely, and they're definitely not helping themselves by just running into the Sombra staggered and giving them EMP charge, because the last full fight was won by an EMP. I'd venture to assume that this next one will be as well.
Another pick on the Little. He's got the EMP once again. I'm sure his team is just going to wait for him to drop it. Every ultimate except for the sound barrier up for Hickman, but that one's so close. They're going to have any ult combination they want in this fight. Hack just going to miss. Thunder's going to use the Death Blossom there without the EMP, and who needs it, he's going to get 2. He'll add a 3rd one. Can he get one more? He cannot before he gets frozen. He's easily able to survive bouncing, being able to get one. Are in overtime. You can see Ozark trying to keep it alive. fly, but that's not going to matter. Hickman going to pick up their first win after another controlled domination.
Oh yes, absolutely, and domination is the correct word. And I do believe the domination is coming mainly from their DPS. Because, you know, it's really hard to do anything at all, tanking, healing, whatever, if you're dead.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the Hickman DPS are sending the enemy team to spawn quite a lot. They're doing a very good job of that.
Yeah, I mean, Buzzer King in that last match had 3 or 4 picks where he was just behind Ozark and just got a free elimination and no one even turned around. So definitely got to be something that you've got to watch out for. You, if you are the Tigers, definitely would think that they might want to probably get off that Echo. Hasn't really got any value, if at all. Haven't really even gone to them. I mean, they have the Reaper, but we saw a May, we saw an Echo. I mean, throw it on the Sombra, maybe throw it on the Pharah if you're comfortable and don't want to get hacked, but definitely some DPS issues, as you pointed out. I think that is the big difference between these two teams right now.
Yes, absolutely, and not necessarily like DPS picks, though I do believe that is part of it. I do believe it is mostly comfort and individual mechanical skill on those DPS heroes. But also, to be fair to the Ozarks, it is really, really hard once you've lost a fight like that, and once you've gone down in ult economy, and once you're at such a big ultimate disadvantage, it is really, really hard to get back from that.
Yeah, it has not been easy for Ozark. It is a Missouri High School Esports Association match. Ozark and Hickman taking on each other here. We just saw Hickman win game 1 on Control. Definitely, I think it was 100-0 both times. If you're interested, though, in some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 coming up just a few days away, it's sneaking up on us at this point, is the Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational, a multi-state duos Warzone tournament. So if you're interested, go check out the Idaho Army National Guard on any of their social media pages there. Get registered and get ready to go. There's some awesome prizes. We've had some awesome events with the Idaho Army National Guard this year with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm excited to see how this Warzone tournament plays out. Really excited to see who's going to show up. We've seen a lot of familiar faces from the other events. I'll be curious if any of them are going to enter in this one, but it is October 10th, so it is coming up, so you want to make sure you get registered and don't miss out on any of those awesome prizes here. We do see some of the Boise State players in the arena. They are preparing for their match against Midland coming up later tonight after the Missouri High School Esports Association match has wound up. Fish and D'Angelo on the cast for that one. I mean, right now, it's total control for Hickman. It's definitely got to be the Ozarks have got to figure out a way. Basically, you talked about how Boise State learned. You got to find a way to counter that Sombra because she was just a pain in their side the whole time. Oh
yes, absolutely. And countering the Sombra does not include throwing your body into her repeatedly and or not checking behind you. You need to be aware of where the Sombra is. And if you struggle with that, possibly get into a diva pick. That Anna and that Mercy just really aren't doing much for them. And normally Anna's a pretty solid pick, but she's just not able to sustain up against the massive dominant DPS forces that they're going up against there.
So we are going to go to, it looks like Assault here, which is interesting as you see the map rules there. So we're just gonna, we're gonna take it on the fly by this one, and I'll be curious. Buzzer King, he was on the Sombra. He's gonna go over the Widowmaker. Good luck, Ozark, because if he plays that Widow as well as he played the Sombra, there's gonna be a lot of headshots flying around.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a warning there, especially on Temple of Anubis, where snipers are so dominant in general. I do believe that part of the problem that the Ozarks is having is that they're all on comfort heroes, and those comfort heroes are not necessarily working for them at all.
Yeah, speaking of that, we're going to see Soldier, the first one, take you down. You can hear the Widow shots go off, and usually the health bar is dropping. Cyclone very low. He's going to be taken down. Winter Sniper going to get another one there. Frosted Flake has been taken down, but right now it's not slowing down Hickman at all. They're going to take down Little to follow things up. Crackle dropping it very low. He did get a pin, though, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to finish the job onto Kirby 8B. Winter Sniper going to take him down as well. Primo Spray trying to do what he can to stay alive. He's going to get staggered, and no tanks means that should be an easy first cap for Hickman.
Yes, absolutely, and they didn't even get very much ult charge to stop the inevitable roll that is now going to happen on 2CP, because Hickman has such an ultimate advantage, and these maps just lend themselves to snowballing very well already without the massive dominance difference in DPS, so I do believe we will see a full snowball, and I don't think there's going to be a ton that the Ozarks can do in terms of ultimates to stop it. Ooh.
That was a great headshot onto the Mercy. My goodness, can he follow it up? Gets the hit marker. Basically eliminates Cyclone there. Thunder's going to finish the job. Infrared Sight is online if he wants to use it, but right now he's just putting shots in, and there's no one on Ozark once it contested. There's the Infra Sight. We have got one pick onto Winter Sniper, but it really doesn't look like it's going to matter. As you've talked about, D'Angelo, the snowballiness of this game mode. We saw the Dragon Blade come out from Thunder. He's going to pick up one, trying to get another one there before it falls. He isn't quite able to get it. Coalesce is going to pick up Cyclone. Right now, very close to capping it with just 5 minutes still left on the clock. One person contesting it. Thunder trying to stay alive. Can't deflect as much as he wanted to from Lil, so that's going to be a great job with the Echo getting his first elimination. Deucey swapped onto the wrecking ball from Crackle. Unfortunately, not going to matter. Double kill for Hickman. Let's make it a triple kill while we're at it. Crackle a little very low. Trimo Spray, the only one at full health as he is on the point. And right now, you can see it's 91%. They only need 10 more percent, so one more fight probably going to seal it. And it looks like that will be it. 4 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock. I mean, we've talked about it every time we go to CP, D'Angelo. It's so snowbally. If you lose the first point that fast, there's not much you can do on the second point.
There is definitely not much you can do on the second point, especially if the highest ultimate that you have is still less than 50% charge and they're sitting on 70 or fully charged ultimates. I do also believe that if ultimates weren't a factor, the roll was also pretty likely, just due to the difference, the refusal to swap off of comfort heroes that are not necessarily working, which is a really big thing in Overwatch. If it's not working, you really should switch or try something else, regardless of how comfortable you are in something. It doesn't hurt you to try something new rather than keep with something that isn't working.
Yeah, Ozark really didn't have anything to match Buzzer King on the Widowmaker. He's going to go at least to now onto the Sombra, so he's going to have hopefully a ton of backline value. If you're a Hickman fan, if you're Ozark, hopefully they're going to find a way to take him out. But you look at the team comp that the Tigers are hovering, there's not a lot of spray fire on something like a Diva that's going to be able to find out a Sombra in stealth on the backline, so they've got to be able to flip focus very, very quickly.
Yes, with the Sombra that dominant, you really need to stop playing Overwatch and start playing Spy Sweeper with a Diva. Just kind of spamming your shots at notable Sombra flank locations, because she only has a set amount. Like, really, she only has a set amount that you can spam at and find her. And if you find her, she's much less likely to get a pick on your entire backline.
Looks like Hickman has swapped in the normal Joe for the bouncing Bean on the Mercy right now. Looks like his job is to make sure Thunder can do as much damage as possible, and already up at 23%. But there's Buzzer King once again on the back line, gets a pick onto Cyclone, going to teleport right out, and that's how Hickman has done it the entire time. A pick for Buzzer King, and now, as Doc always likes to say, it's an unfair fight, and Hickman's taking advantage.
Oh yes, absolutely. If you're down one, usually you want to soft disengage unless you can kill somebody and make it even, but you can't kill anybody if you're not even through the choke yet.
Yeah, Buzzer King, he's going to get another one. Thunder's going to steal that one away, but you can just see how much of a pain he is as Thunder gets two, but the health bar is all low thanks to Buzzer King. You can see why dropping incredibly low. He's going to get picked off there. And Ozark right now, they've got to wait for everyone to get back, but they've got to find a way to stop Sombra. You can see Buzzer King already in the backline and stealth. He's going to basically get a pick onto anything he wants.
Yes, absolutely. And they also need to find a way to be wary of the Ashe, because an Ashe with a hard Mercy pocket is worse than a Widowmaker from range with that Mercy pocket.
Buzzer King did get found out with the hammer flailing from Crackle. Immortality Field going to go down. Looks like it's going to be taken out there immediately by Thunder. And Buzzer King just put a ton of damage in. Does get found out. He's going to hack the health pack there. As you can see, Ozark finally with their first push going to try and push in, but Bob's joined the fight, and Thunder immediately gets 3 thanks to his robot. Winter Sniper going to get 2 more of his own. Cremo Spray, the only one left alive. He can't survive a basic team kill for Hickman.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. But, however, Ozark, step 1 is finding the Sombra and denying her that value. They've completed step 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they continued to improve against that Sombra, and I think that's something that we all want to see.
See the Sombra there on the back line. Has the EMP, but with no follow-up from the team, I think he's going to wait. You can see him trying to put as much damage he can. Wine swapped over to the McCree. Probably going to try and find some headshots on the Thunder, who's been a thorn in the side of Ozark as well. Right now, no one going down, but Buzzer King just waiting there. This is a huge EMP, but he goes for the individual hack first onto Crackle. It's going to allow the Immortality Field to be put down there by Septemq. Not going to be able to get any eliminations. Nano's going to go onto Crackle as well. A little infected, dropping low. Nano going to go onto Winter Sniper, but right now no eliminations. Finally went onto Cyclone. They will get one back onto Buzzer King, but that's about all they're going to get. Winter Sniper getting 3. Gonna get frozen, but it's probably not going to matter. We're going to see the May go down. Res onto Buzzer King. McCree will fall, and once again Ozark's forced to reset.
But step 2, kill the Sombra. That's why they went McCree, in order to stun and then kill her. Because McCree, even while hacked, is still very, very dangerous. So he's actually really, really nice as a Sombra counter. although he's usually outclassed by all of the other sniper hit scans for different things. For this, he really is perfect.
See Thunder up on the high ground. They're getting pocketed by the Mercy. Buzzer King gonna get one onto Y again. He has just been a thorn in their side. He has the EMP. He unfortunately is underneath right now, so he's not able to drop it. Bob up as well. So we've got a Tracer swap coming out for Ozark there with just under a minute left. Curious to see when Buzzer King wants to commit the EMP, because right now the Ozarks are incredibly grouped up. This could easily be a 6-man EMP. Bob's gonna be called out. You can see Buzzer King trying to get in spot. He has been detected. He's holding on to it for now. There's the EMP with the Diva bomb. That's a 4-man bomb. Now they're going to lose the May as well, and that probably all but does it.
Yes, that probably absolutely all but does it. I'm not even sure if they needed the bomb, because the EMP bomb is what absolutely murdered everybody. But also, I don't know if it matters when there's this low on time and you still have other ultimates.
Much better.
Still the Valkyrie and the Primal Rage. Just the Shatter available for the Ozarks. They're going to have to get on the point in an incredible hurry. Are going to see an ENT onto the Mercy. Hack's going to go on to Crack. But Winter Sniper going to use the Primal Rage. In overtime, they are able to at least get on the point to start contesting it. Valkyrie going to be used. Pin onto the Monkey, but he's able to survive. Still holding on to the Shatter. Finally going to use it. Unfortunately going to whiff. Grab going to be thrown in as well from Criminal Spray right before he goes down. Gonna get the res onto Cyclone, but unfortunately it doesn't really look like it's going to matter, as you can just see the kill feed light up in red. Mercy, the last one alive, trying to contest the point. Tracer gonna go down as well. No. That probably is going to do it. There it is. Hickman with a great hold, and they're gonna win their second map.
Yes, Hickman with a very dominant hold. And they're still holding on to some of those heroes. This time it was the Ana that I mentioned previously. But the Ana is not able to hold up against those flankers. I mean, really, flankers are her weakness in general. But when you have a flanker that is that dominant and that skilled, you really, if Ana's not working, you really should swap off to something more like a Moira that can not only sustain more, but also survive easier.
We take a look here at some of the replays from the first two maps, and it was really Winter Sniper and Buzzer King putting in a ton of work. I mean, Buzzer King, as you mentioned, he was always flanking, he was always in on the back line, and there was nothing that Ozarks had. They had no spray, they had no supports. As you mentioned, D'Angelo could really deal with it, so he had free reign to basically get a pick and then get out and do it again.
He absolutely did. He had completely free range. They really made no attempt to counter him other than the McCree, but the McCree got wrecked by the Sombra, so that's usually not good. So they clearly needed to do something as more of a team rather than just putting it all on one person.
Yeah, I definitely think you pointing out that there has been a lot of comfort picks for the Ozarks that they really haven't felt comfortable swapping off of. It feels like Hickman, it almost looks like a mini Boise State, where it's, hey, they know exactly the comp they want to run on this map. They're going to freely swap it off. It's going to be the heroes that are stronger in the meta right now, and they're going to run it to perfection. I think my only criticism is they did kind of hold on to the EMP for the flashy bomb play, which, yes. I mean, the way they were playing probably didn't matter, but I mean, they clearly feel comfortable having a comp for every map and knowing exactly how to run it.
They clearly feel very, very comfortable and very, very confident, almost too confident. A team could take advantage of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Buzz go on to one of the Missouri esports colleges that already have solid programs.
Yeah, Missouri definitely a state at the collegiate level with Mizzou and Maryville that are top-notch in a ton of sports. Boise State been on the losing end of a couple of those matches against those two teams, so maybe that's a player we'll see in the future, but for now, you have to be impressed with how he's been on the Sombra, how he's been on the Widowmaker, and really Winter Sniper as well. He's got a ton of eliminations for a tank, almost rivaling his DPSs. He might have gold elims, at least it's going to be silver, because somehow he's always picking up 2 or 3 kills, even though he's on a Winston or a Reinhardt. It's kind of impressive.
Oh, yes, absolutely, and the Winston is there to deal damage and get the kills that the DPS softened them up for and that sort of thing. That really just is one of the advantages of Winston in this current meta, in addition to his mobility.
We'll be curious to see what the next map going to be here for the Missouri High School Esports Association between Ozark and Hickman. We're going to have Boise State later on tonight taking on Midland once we wrap up this series between the Tigers and the Q-Pies. And I'm just really going to be curious to see if Ozark is going to swap off of those comfort picks, because, I mean, we've talked about it, D'Angelo. It's almost a broken record. They're kind of just getting taken advantage of. It's something they feel comfortable on. It's probably something that they climb well with on solo queue, but this isn't solo queue. You're going to get exploited a lot more by a very communicative team, and that's exactly what Hickman's been doing.
Yes, they are absolutely in a position to get their comfort picks taken advantage of, but contrary to that, they are trying to counter the Sombra. They are learning. They are getting better. You can see the individual play as well as the team play getting better as we progress. So if they progress to the point where they're able to swap off of those comfort picks, I do believe that Hickman would be in for a little bit of a world there, because I don't think they're prepared for any amount of significant resistance, and I think that could be their downfall.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that it still sticks out to me is you've got to get somebody on the D.Va, at least have that unlimited ammo that can find out Buzzer King, because the only time he got caught was by Crackle just kind of flailing a hammer around, and he kind of walked into it. But yeah, if Ozark can find a way to counter it, I mean, you look at that squad, who's going to find out the Sombra? No one. And that's going to be a thorn in their side over and over again. We do see the Hanzo has come out from Frosted Flakes, so going to have that sniper once again, but it's all going to be on Buzzer King. If he gets these huge hacks, it's going to be a world of hurt for the Ozarks here as we kick things off.
Yes, and this is also first point Gibraltar, and running a Rhine Zarya, there's so much high ground for them to take advantage of. It's really just like fish in a barrel.
He actually came out of stealth in front of Cyclone and then just jumped down because he had no fear of retaliation. Buzzer King right now is just playing with fearless abandon, and why wouldn't he? He's going to get another one there. He's right behind Primo Spray, and he's not even going to turn around. I'm not even sure if he knows he's there. Going to get the elimination. Hickman right now off to the start we've been expecting after the first two maps.
Yes, absolutely. However, Hickman is also still in a place where if the Ozarks swap off of their comfort picks, and if they start going more divey, more find out the Sombra, I do not think that Buzzard is prepared. I do not think that he is prepared at all.
Right now, it does not matter. He's going to get one on Little. He's going to try and stop the res. Can't quite do it, but he's able to get the Mercy in the process. So he's basically still going to make it a 6v5. He's going to have to teleport very far into the back line with the payload basically just zooming down course right now. He's got the EMP whenever he wants to drop it. First ultimate available in the game. Nano up from Thunder as well. You can see Buzzard. There he is. Going to start with the hack onto Cyclone. Crackle's going to get Winter Sniper, so he might be holding on to the EMP as it looks like the rest of his team is taking low. Kirby 8, he's going to pick up Crackle. The normal Joe also dropping low. Another great individual hack onto Cyclone, but it looked like after the healing grenade went out, so he wasn't able to shut that one down. Res onto Crackle. Y going to get the normal Joe, and he'll get Kirby 8 me. And for the first time, the Ozarks showing some resistance. They're going to push them all back.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a little bit was because Hickman was kind of expecting them not to full contest, not to full organized focus target contest. And I think that's what ended up with their monkey killed and the rest of them low, and then they had to back off.
Why going to get another one here? He's had a great start to this map. He's got the Death Blossom online. You see Buzzer King dropping low, going to get punched down by the Mercy. So Ozark now going to find out that Sombra, and as you were talking to Angelo, maybe not ready for that resistance now. Why going to be the backline aggressor? This could be a huge Death Blossom if he can get into place. You're going to have to Wraith form away. The Nano has gone on to Winter Sniper, plus the Primal Rage. That's going to allow him to get Crackle. Double Anti going to land onto both tanks for Hickman, but it doesn't appear to be mattering as the Blizzard comes out. Valkyrie used as well. Y's gotten another one, but unfortunately for the Ozarks, Y having to go away with the Wraith form. He kind of missed a huge fight, and that probably flipped it and allowed Hickman to win.
He kind of absolutely missed a huge fight there and allowed Hickman to win by not using that Death Blossom, which was their win condition. However, the Ozarks are in a much better position than they were before because they're starting to put up that resistance. They're starting to counterpick. They're starting to counterplay that Hickman was just completely not ready for.
EMP still online for Buzzer King. We'll see if he wants to use it now. Frosted Flake has swapped off the Hanzo onto the McCree. Sleep going to land onto Y. Not going to be punished for it, but the Mercy will instead be taken down. Anti going to land on the Chroma Spray, but nothing to come of it. Still waiting for that EMP, but a good job by Ozark spreading out on the high ground. They are going to lose Chroma Spray, though, once again. Frosted Flake racking up another elimination. Y now trying to battle out Winter Sniper. Not going well for him. Little going to get hit by the Anti-Nade. Not quite take it down. You can see Kirby 8 charging in. He's going to have to back off, and Y now putting some damage in. Cyclone going to get Frosted Flake. This might be the best time if ever to drop that Death Blossom. D.Va Bomb going to come out. EMP's going to land onto 2, and those will be the 2 members taken down by the bomb. Y in on the back line. He's going to lose a battle against Thunder with some help from Winter Sniper as well, and that looks like it's going to be second checkpoint for Hickman.
Yeah, second checkpoint for Hickman indeed. We have DPS on both sides holding on to ultimates way longer than they should have, the most recent example being the Death Blossom. It may not have necessarily won the fight, depending on how much value he got, but it definitely also was in the realm of possibilities of at least stopping them, at least taking another 20 seconds off of their clock. By this point, he could have charged another one, so I'm not quite sure what he's waiting for.
Ozark has a lot of ultimates available. Nano's going to kick things off onto Crackle with a great sleep coming out from Thunder to shut down his hammer swinging madness, and now he's going to get hacked immediately, so great job shutting it down. Nano going to go on to Winter Sniper. On Hickman's side, Valkyrie forced to be used by Seps, but unfortunately nothing's going to be coming of it right now, and it looks like neither side is too antsy to start off a fight. You see the Deadeye available as well as the Sound Barrier still hitting onto that Death Blossom. This will be a 5-man ESP with a 3-man Deadeye on top of it. Buzzer King doing a great job setting up Frosted Flake. Finally the Death Blossom comes out. He is able to get just one back, but the team kill is going to seal the fate of Ozark. Sound Barrier comes out for the memes, and Hickman, a little bit of resistance, but it really, you talked about it, D'Angelo, that Death Blossom, it was available from before point 1 was capped and wasn't used until right before point 3 was capped.
Yes, absolutely, and I do believe he used it because he realized that there was only another 20 seconds in the game before the cap. And so I really just hope that they learned not to hold on to that for so long, because it could have definitely flipped fights in their favor. And we're just kind of seeing some general reluctance to use DPS ultimates, which strikes me as a little bit odd, because we've seen how fast Buzz can charge in EMP, and we've seen how confident he is in his Sombra abilities, so why is he holding on to them for as long as he could? For as long as he was. He could have charged 2 in the time that it took him to use 1. I understand ult combinations, but again, he tends to charge his EMP faster than any of his teammates charging the ults he wanted to combo with, just because he spends the entire game in their backline.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're completely right, D'Angelo. He could probably drop an EMP, even if they don't win the fight. He'll have it back up before a member of his team has their ultimate up. He did combo it there with the Deadeye, and that did get them 3 kills, so it has worked out, but that is one thing that I think you are correct on. It could be something punished, but still, I mean, Ozark's had the same problems. They sat on the Death Blossom for 3 points, so it is weird. I mean, we talk about it all the time in Collegiate. It's whoever hits Q first wins the fight, and these teams almost are too scared to hit Q at this point, so I'll be curious to see how fast Buzzer King gets the EMP and how fast he's willing to use it here.
Yes, absolutely, because DPS ultimates are the ones that are having the big impact fights.
Kick things off. There is Buzzer King. He's in on the back line. Him and the Junkrat having a battle. He's dropping low, facing some resistance. Going to teleport away right onto the health pack. Excellent placement there. And Frosted Flake going to clean up the damage he already started. Get the first elimination onto the Echo. Winter Sniper dropping low. Should be able to retreat. Crackle going to go down. Frosted Flake going to pick up another one. The 2 snipers for Hickman doing a ton of damage in on the back line. Finishing off the damage Buzzer King started. He's going to get one of his own onto Septemq, and right now Ozark's probably going to have to retreat.
Yes, fantastic. They have pushed them back out of spawn. This is definitely... So there are some games where the main tank carries, or the support carries, or this, that, or the other thing. But this is definitely a game where the DPS are determining how fights turn out. This is definitely a DPS-oriented game.
Another pick onto the Echo. Frosted Flake, unfortunately, not going to be able to hit the dynamite there. Kirby Amy's first elimination going to be chalked up to Ozark there, but it's just a mech. Hack going to go onto the Ana on the side of Ozark. Unfortunately, none of those shots landed. Finally, Buzzer King gets one. The Nano is available. First ult of the game up for Thunder. We'll see if he wants to throw it out onto Winter Sniper, who's currently taking a quick nap. Wise going to get one onto Frosted Flake. There is the Nano coming out from Thunder onto Winter Sniper. Diva Bomb from Kirby Amy going to come out. See if it can get back on a losing fight. Doesn't look like it's going to get much of anything. Primal Rage has been popped. Buzzer King going to get another one. Kirby Amy going to join in on the party. Winter Sniper in on the back line. Rez has gone out. He's immediately going to punish the Mercy, though, and take down Cyclone, and it looks like the Tigers are going to be forced to retreat here. And fortunately, they don't get back to spawn quick enough. Septemq going to go down. They're going to get one onto Winter Sniper. Buzzer King is there, and right now they've just got to wait for everyone to come in. They are staggering these respawns incredibly hard.
Yes, they're staggering these respawns incredibly hard, and they're not letting them outside of spawn, which you definitely shouldn't do if you have the opportunity to spawn camp somebody. But also, it's really interesting watching the mechanical skill that goes into these kills, because it's not necessarily like they're the greatest shot ever. They just happen to be in the right place with the right field of view at the right time.
Buzzer King little bit late. Probably could have hit a big EMP there. We're going to see the Riptire come out for Y. Not going to land onto anything. You can see Buzzer Kill there, King in stealth, waiting right now, and he doesn't really even have to use the EMP. As him and Frosted Flake going to combine for 2 picks. He's also going to find out Crackle, not going to have to hack. He's now going to drop it onto Cyclone, prevent a res, and get another one. Going to have to dodge the hammer. He'll do an excellent job of that. Y is going to go down. Crackle trying to get one. Unfortunately, that Sombra's a little bit too slippery, and the Ozarks have to reset once again, and now they're still looking at the EMP Bob combination.
Yes, they are still looking at the EMP Bob combination, which has proven to win them fights before. However, I do think that Ozark has a really good chance if they chose to counterplay and counterpick these DPS. I do not think that they are in any way, shape, or form ready.
There's the EMP bomb combination going to come out. That's going to get Kirby Amy at 3. Frosty Flake picks up another one. Criminal Spray going to throw the grab down all by himself. That'll just get him killed. And right now, Ozark's got to be very, very quick here. They've only got 40 seconds left. Did get a couple of ultimates out, but Bob's still available.
Yes, Bob is still available, and that is usually enough to win a team fight. But depending on who the Echo copies, that could be Ozark's key out of spawn in combination with the Shatter. I mean, unless they die here, and then they can't really do much for the last fight.
Frosted Flake got a pick onto Y, who swapped over to his own Ash. Little going to get taken out as well by Frosted Flake. Can't ult when you're dead, and now starting to run out of time. Looks like the res is going to come out behind the shield, and the Ozarks have got to go quickly with a swap onto Soldier coming out from Y. Lil nearly goes down once again. Hack onto Crackle, Nano onto Winner, Sniper, and that's 2 eliminations for Hickman to kick things off. There's the Primal Rage comes out, going to pick up another one. Shatter going to land onto 2. Unfortunately, Crackle can't do much to capitalize, and that is going to be the 3rd win for Hickman, and we would have to assume the series if it was a best of 5. And what an excellent display by Hickman. They were all over the place. A little bit of criticism, as we mentioned, the DPS ults held on to, but at the same time, they sat on an EMP and they didn't even need it. They cleanly won the team fight. So a great use of not throwing everything on the table, which is the opposite of being too cautious, is being overly aggressive with your ultimates, and a great job by Hickman with the 3-0 victory.
Yes, that was a great job by Hickman on the 3-0 victory. However, I will say that a lot of it probably had to do with the comfort picks and Ozark refusing to switch off of things that weren't working. Because when you watch the individual players, there wasn't a ton of difference in terms of like mechanical skill. Like this wasn't a bunch of bronze against a bunch of GM. The Ozark just wasn't like completely blown out of the water skill-wise. But let's take last map, Gibraltar, for example. Gibraltar is a map with a lot of high ground that you can absolutely take advantage of. You can be the best Reinhardt-Zarya combo in the world. You're not going to gain much ground up against a competent Winston D.Va because you're just fish sitting at the bottom. Pardon me. You're just sitting at the bottom of the barrel waiting for them to shoot you. And Ashe doesn't have to have an exceptional headshot crit ratio to just shoot at the bottom of the barrel and shoot at your completely unprotected team that is mostly not together at all. So what we saw here, you would imagine most 3-0 victories spawn camps to be a huge difference in mechanical skill, but that's actually not what we saw here at all. Because the mechanical game sense part, maybe not game sense, but the mechanical part at least was relatively close for both sides. What we saw here was just repeated inferior comps that were not working and a complete, like, reluctance, denial, whatever you want to call it, to swap off of anything that wasn't working.
No, I think you're completely right on that one, because I think there is an argument to be made that a lot of what allowed Buzzer King to pop off was the lack of anyone that could find out the Sombra. There was never the D.Va brought out that we usually see as being the one who just sort of sprays in an area and tries and gets a hit. So I do think that it's still a huge congratulations to Hickman picking up the 3-0 victory. They definitely earned it, and they definitely showcased their skills. Be curious to see if any of those players are ones we're hearing 3, 4, 2, depending on, class, whatever freshman, senior in high school they are. Could be something you hear in the collegiate scene soon. But yes, it is going to be interesting to see what Ozark can learn from that one. Are they able to say, hey, you know what? Hey, maybe I'm a great Zarya on solo Q ladder. Let's swap off of it because it's clearly not working. But still, really just exciting in general that there is a Missouri High School Esports Association, something that you would hope one day might have the word Idaho instead of Missouri there. But it's awesome to see states embracing this at the high school level, preparing these kids for the collegiate level where these schools are taking it more and more seriously, as we're going to see later tonight with Boise State coming up. But before we wrap things up, I do think we do have an Idaho Central Credit Union Player of the Game coming out of this, and I would have to say It's tough for me. I would say Buzzer King, but Winter Sniper probably also equally as deserving.
Yes, so just think like a Twitch chat. Think like a Twitch chat. It's probably going to be Buzzer because usually it goes to the big flashy plays. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it went on to one of the other two tanks because those were usually who he was ultimate comboing with. And so they're in the kill feed just as dominantly, but they're also doing slightly more team-oriented protection type things. However, I do still think that we'll end up with a Buzz player.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it is going to be Buzzer King. And always my co-casters both just play support, and they're always like, but the supports did so well. You know what? No! It's going to the DPS, D'Angelo.
Yes.
That's how it's got to be. He makes all the highlight plays. You support, just make sure that he can do it, and you make sure you say when he needs healing, you heal them. Of course, jokes aside, the supports are a big part of it. But no, huge congratulations to Buzzer King. He was excellent there. You see, he is a junior, so one more year of high school play for him, and then he could be going tons of different places based off what we saw today, but a huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to the rest of Hickman, Thunder, Frosted Flake, the Normal Joe, Kirby 8B, Winter Sniper, and Bouncing Bean all played spectacular as well. But Idaho Central Credit Union, they believe that a great player makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success, and that's why Buzzer King is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, because he definitely made Hickman more successful and definitely helped them to this 3-0 victory.
Yes, and actually, Ozark almost made Hickman more successful with their unwillingness to swap to that Diva. They showed a little bit of resistance there, and I really just would have loved to have seen the skill of those players be on showcase more, because I don't think that they should have gotten rolled as hard as they could have. I do not believe that that was the best that they could have played, and I do not believe that they were at their top there. So while Hickman did do amazing, I believe we saw the upper skills of everything Hickman had to offer. I believe they played their best, they did their best, that's why they won the victory. If you're not trying your hardest and if you're not trying to switch, you're not going to win.
Yeah, I mean, you have to see what Ozark wants to take away from it. I mean, we've seen it for Boise State. Got rolled a couple times in a big tournament and said, hey, how do we fix this comp? They picked up the Sombra, and they've been rolling ever since. So yes, a lot of it, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Almost a loss is better than a victory, because a victory, if you have bad habits, you say, well, we won. Yeah. A loss, you can say, hey, what did we do wrong? How do we fix it? So huge shout out to both these schools. Glad we were able to get them on the stream. I know I saw a couple of players in the chat super excited to see themselves. So I wish nothing but the best for you guys. Can't wait to see you guys either in more high school events or even a couple of years from now in the collegiate scene, wherever you do choose to go. But we're going to transition over to Boise State NECC Collegiate Overwatch coming up next. It is Boise State taking on Midland. Orange Squad for the Broncos taking on Midland, who, as I've been told, is the only team to take a map off of the blue Boise State team. So definitely a stronger opponent in the NECC. If you're unfamiliar, we will play all three maps regardless of the outcome. So it doesn't matter if it's a 2-0 Bronco lead. We're playing map 3 regardless, just how NECC works. So I'm excited because Boise State Blue's been rolling. They've been rolling through NACC as well, but this is the best team they've clearly played. The only team to take a map in NECC. Orange is going to have their work cut out for them, but Orange, as far as I know, their only loss on stream is to Blue in NACC when they played each other. So, I mean, yes. Boise State's rolling in everything. So we're going to have to see how Orange can handle Midland. That's going to be coming up next. Fish and D'Angelo are going to have the call, but we're going to take a short break, get us rested, and then we're going to have Overwatch for Boise State coming up next.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
For the couple seconds.
Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We just got done with the Missouri High School Esports Association game between Ozark and Hickman, and now we're on to the collegiate scene where I'm sure all of those 12 players wish to be one day. We are in the NECC, Boise State Orange taking on Midland. We see some of the players there, some up on the blue on the stage, some down below to make sure everything is social distance approved. You can see masks on, shields up in between the computer, and even a computer of space between each player. So you see 3 on the stage, a couple more down below scattered about. They're ready to go. They're excited to be seeing how they fare up against Midland, because this Midland team is probably one of the best teams they've seen. As we talked about before the break, D'Angelo, Boise State Blue has been killing it. They are awesome in NACC, and in NECC, they've only ever dropped one map. That one map was to this Midland school, so you know the Warriors are going to be tough. Orange has been on a roll as well. Their only loss has been, that we've seen at least, to the Blue team in a group play for NACC. This is NECC. I am very excited to see how these teams match up, because, you know, obviously Blue got the advantage over Little Brother. They 3-0'd Orange. If Orange can take down Midland and even get a 3-0, they can say, hey, at least we didn't drop a map.
Hey, at least we didn't, listen, we didn't drop a map. We could get a little sibling rivalry going on here. And I actually do believe in Boise State Orange here. I do believe that Midland will be a challenge for them. But I mean, it wouldn't be a fun game to play. It wouldn't be a fun game to cast. You wouldn't learn much if it wasn't a challenge. But I do believe it is a challenge that Boise State Orange will rise to.
See a little bit there about the New England Collegiate Conference. 17 schools, a round robin, record seed in the playoffs. Boise State, as we talked about, best record in the tournament with Beaker College, a team they played a close second. So, going to be interesting to see how Boise State Orange matches up against Midland. Boise State, I'm sure, would love to have 2 teams in the playoffs, and I'm really excited to see how the matchup goes. Here is the standings. You could see Boise State Blue, 3-0. Boise State Orange, 3-0. Boise State Orange actually with the better record at 9-0 overall. Boise State Blues, we talked about, 8-1. They have dropped one map to Midland, who we see there is sitting at 1-1 with a 4-2 map advantage. So Boise State Orange wins this one. They might even have a tiebreaker over Boise State Blue before those 2 teams potentially would play. So definitely going to be a good measuring stick. Yes. Definitely going to be, I'm sure Orange wants to have that 0 in the loss column. You can see them in New England, the only 2 schools that have not dropped a map yet. New England's only played 2 games, though. So Orange, they're ready to go. They're excited. They're trying to say, hey, Blue, we're going to get the number 1 seed. You guys have fun with the 2nd seed.
Yes, absolutely. There is a little bit of a rivalry. And, you know, I mean, there's really nothing for Boise State fans to complain about, because when you're 1st and 2nd seed, you're sitting pretty nicely.
Yeah, I'm sure when we do NACC later on in the week, the standings would probably look the exact same, with the only loss being Orange to Blue. I mean, Boise State Overwatch has been on fire. I think a lot of it does go, as we talked about with the high school, to learning from their defeats. In Hugh Fest, they got rolled by a Sombra in back-to-back games. They weren't playing Sombra. Now they picked up Sombra, and they are rolling teams that haven't faced the Sombra. So I love how Boise State has learned from their losses. They said, hey, Sombra's pretty good right now. Let's pick her up. So going to be interesting to see if Midland wants to bring out their own. We see Doc's keys to the game: win the first fight, stabilize and reset if needed. Another thing Boise State has been improving on week by week: melt the same target and tanks take the space. It's all brought to you by Count, whose Identity and Trust Global Network analyzes 32 billion annual interactions to help personalize user experiences across the full spectrum of trust, from frictionless experiences to blocking fraud. Quick and accurate identity trust decisions help you deliver safe payments online. If you want more information, go check them out, count.com, KOUNT. It will be interesting, since Midland has played Boise State Blue, how much they took away from that, and if they try and counter Boise State Orange like it is Boise State Blue. The teams play some similarities, but there are some differences as well. As you take a look at the players, Narbles, Rezo, Quidgible, Icy, Beanie Bum, and Pleb going to be on the side of Boise State Orange.
Yes, absolutely, on Boise State Orange there. And again, like I said, I do believe that this is a challenge that they're going to rise to. I do believe that they will come out victorious. I certainly hope that for them. And I believe it is within their playing power.
See there what Sky, Scout, Shiloh, Noro, and Chatter going to be on the side of Midland. As we talk about, we will play all 3 maps regardless there. That was the score in the brackets as we saw in the standings earlier. Things going to kick off here. Noro taken incredibly low. He's going to be the first one taken down. Quidgible going to be forced out of the mech by Scout right now, holding on in the Baby Diva form as Shiloh and Scout both dropping incredibly low. Boise not quite able to finish a kill. Now they're able to get one onto Shiloh. Noro has respawned, but they are still currently sitting up 2 as the Winston tries to get back into the fight. What's able to get Icy, and Rezo goes down as well to Chatter, so a great response there by Midland. Down a couple of members. Narwhal's able to pick up Sky. Gonna put some damage onto the backline. You can see Scout still alive at a sliver of health for the longest time. Boise State nearly capping the point, but unfortunately gonna be contested there by a couple of Warriors. Chatter dropping low, but what's gonna add to his kill count? He's gonna pick up 2 more. Noro gets 1 as well. Icy gets 1 onto what? Unfortunately, Quidgible forced out of the mech in Baby Diva form. He is going to fall. Rezo dropping low, probably gonna be forced out, and Icy goes down, so Boise State a great start. Unfortunately not going to be how they finish.
Yes, this next fight, because that one was so spread out and because that last fight was so back and forth, this next fight will be determined by ultimate usage. Mainly what you're looking for is the Echo ultimate and value out of a Tracer Pulse Bomb and or a Reaper Blossom. So you're going to want to watch those DPS ultimates for these next couple of fights because they're probably just going to poke until they have those 2 engaged.
Tactical Visor and the Pulse Bomb, only things online. One's going to get 1 onto Rezo immediately. He's going to activate the Tactical Visor, but immediately eliminated there by Quidgible. We're going to see the Primal Rage come out from Noro. We do see, it looks like Scout's going to drop 1 onto the Winston and use his own Primal Rage. So that is 2 1,000 HP monkeys Boise State has to deal with. Narwhal's trying to do what he can. He's built up a ton of ult charge. We're going to see a knock off the edge from Scout. Sound Barrier came out from Shiloh as well. Boise State's holding on, and now they're going to drop their own Sound Barrier combo with the Death Blossom. Narwhal's going to get 1. Rezo gets another one. Minefield dropped by Chatter, and he's just trying to stall out for time. Quidgible going to drop the Diva Bomb there. He'll pick up 1, trying to zone Midland off the point as Boise State tries to cap. Right now they haven't been able to. Chatter dropping incredibly low. He's just barely able to get out of the fight. And Boise State right now, you can see 75% towards capping. 3 eliminations, bang, 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 mean they're going to get the point.
Midland did do a really, really nice job of dragging out that fight, but to Boise State's credit, they couldn't be as aggressive as they needed to be because they were down their Moira.
Just the Moira has the Coalescence online for Midland. Nothing else above 60%. Boise State's got the Primal Rage. Pulse Bomb going to about 85%. Pleb at 54%, but that Coalescence will charge so fast he might even have it up in this fight. Going to be a contest here for Midland. Immediately pushed off the point as what goes down. Shiloh does get a boop off the edge onto Narbles, and Scout picks up 1. Quidgible's going to answer right back, and it's 2 down on both sides as the Coalescence comes out from Sky. Rizzo doing a great job in the back. Not going to drop the Pulse Bomb. Not going to pick up anything. Quidgible forced out of the mech. Baby Diva form is activated. Coalescence from Pleb going to try and be used to keep people alive, but Scout going to get a great elimination there. He's building up towards that ultimate. Sky goes down to Pleb. Boise State doing a great job stalling out. Primal Rage from Ice is going to get 1 onto Noro. What's taking down Rezo? He has swapped over to the Tracer as well. Scout's going to use it onto the Reaper. He's got the Death Blossom available. Great job by Boise State avoiding it, only giving up 1 elimination. Narwhal's able to take down the clone. First Scout back into the Echo Form, and Boise State right now doing a great job. Not winning the fight, but stalling out. You can see now they're up above 60%. Quidgible back, unfortunately, out of the mech. Rezo's won the Tracer battle this time onto 1. VDM's going to drop a 5-man Sound Barrier, try and shut down any advancement that Midland wants to have. They see the Primal Rage and the Minefield have come out. Scout did another one, already at 70%. He just used his ultimate. Sound Barrier just keeps Scout alive. That looks like it might be enough. Midland's going to get Sky, and what a couple of eliminations there. Pleb dropping incredibly low. He will fall as well. This looks like Boise State on the verge of giving up the point, but they got to 85% before they had to do it.
Oh yes, absolutely, and we're going to get a couple more percent here maybe with Beanie Bum there, so that was pretty nice. 85 to 88. But Boise State didn't necessarily have to end up winning that engagement. I mean, they would have won the map if they had. But what they did was they bled them out for time. They bled them out for time, and that was really, really important, and that's something that both teams have done to great success this map. Because each team has only won 1 fight, but we're sitting at 70 and 80 on the point going into last fight territory.
Rezo's going to drop the bomb, not going to land. What does the same? He'll whiff it as well. Scout's going to this time copy the Moira there. We see 2 Coalescents already coming out. Can we add a 3rd one into the mix as Shiloh gets the first elimination onto Narble? Scout now going to use his own Coalescence. Quidgible Diva Bomb going to go out, not going to land anything, trying to zone Midland off the point. We are going to see Scout back in normal form, but Beanie Bum's gone down as well. That's 2 eliminations this fight for Midland, and now they're going to get Quidgible out of the mech. He's going to try and get away. Icy has the Primal Rage, not going to pop it, but we're in overtime, so Boise State has to try try and stay on the point and stall it out and hope for a comeback here. Shiloh's going to throw down the sound barrier. Interesting enough. I want to see if Boise State can capitalize on this, but right now they're just trying to stay on the point. Beanie Bum, the only one left alive. He will be taken down. Icy's going to Primal Rage, trying to get in. The body block, though, going to be a bit too strong for Midland, and they're going to start things off with a 1-0 lead here on Control.
Yes, absolutely. And what we saw there was we saw Midland win a grand total of 2 fights, and we saw Boise State win 1 fight. But considering both teams were able to get to 80-90 and then win the map, that is a little bit of a testament to the lack of cleanness in their dives. We're not killing the same targets. We're not focusing the... And I do think that even though Boise State lost the map, I do think that they have more of the advantage over Midland when it comes to being a learning team. Because that's what we sell our program by. That's what we talk about. That's all of these things that we think are important. Learning is one of them.
Yeah, right now the Scout has been getting a ton of value on that Echo. 3 ultimates.
Yes.
I mean, he ulted and then nearly had another one in the same fight. Looks like what?
Yes.
Still hasn't quite figured out what he wants to play. Going to be on the McCree now. Rezo's on the Junkrat, something we've seen Boise State get a ton of value on in the past. See if that trend continues. At 1 point averaging 2 kills per Riptire. He right now is going to be the focus target. He'll drop incredibly low. You can see Scout right now already up above 20% and climbing. Clef up in 40. And we see Icy and Watt going to trade. Watt's going to pick up another one. Noro gets one as well. He'll join in on the party, get his own little double kill. And Boise State unfortunately going to reset there. This might be a team kill. It is going to be one for Midland.
Yes, that is a clean team kill. The Reaper couldn't have gotten out, so at that point it was just kind of don't feed them much ult charge. However, both teams are sitting relatively close at ultimates. However, Boise will need to watch out for that shatter coming from Midland because they are very close to it, and we don't necessarily have any sort of defensive counter other than Icy blocking the shatter.
It looks like Icy and Rezo both swaps. They're going to reset their ult charges. Shatter online from Noro. Scout getting very close to his own ultimate. Coalescence going to start with a 5-man shatter like you talked about, D'Angelo. That spells doom for Boise State. Scout's the beneficiary with the Quadra, but Boise State, they fell to that shatter. That's another team kill.
Yes, it absolutely is another team kill there. And more dangerous than the shatter, they now have Echo ult and Deadeye. But mostly what you want to be concerned about is the Echo ultimate, because they've gotten a lot of value out of that in the past, and they've just got a lot of value out of the Echo in general, which is something that Boise State needs to start denying value to.
Yeah, Scout can copy the Reinhardt, get another 5-man shatter. That could be absolute doom. There it is. He's going to pick up the Reinhardt. Coalescence from Sky going to be used. Icy has already gone down. What's going to pop the Deadeye? Looks like it's just going to be able to zone Boise State off the point, and they're going to get a couple more eliminations. They did do a good job at least denying the shatter from Scout, but they still got to be worried, and right now they've got to find a way to get out of their own spawn.
Yes, absolutely. We've got to find a way to get out of our own spawn. But at the end of the day, 3 Qs is still 3 Qs. And we do actually have the ultimate advantage on them now because we have both DPS ultimates and both support ultimates. Basically, the only one that's not probably going to get their ultimate this fight is Icy.
Oro's got his shatter again. We already saw what he could do with it. Deadeye going to come out. Sound barrier stops it, and a 3-man shatter going to land. Rezo's going to be the first one taken down. Icy trying to charge in, not going to be able to get anywhere. Noro picks up 3 and gets quitchable off the edge with the mech. Takes himself off as well. Noro putting on a clinic on how to play Reinhardt, and at 99%. Boise State's got to get onto the point incredibly quickly. Chatter going to drop the Diva Bomb in the hole. It's not going to matter. Midland's going to take another map off Boise State, this time off the orange team, and they're up 1 map to nothing.
Yes, they are up 1 map to nothing. Boise State has not. They learned not to take as staggered engagements, but I don't think we were ready for the way the ultimates were being used, particularly the shatters. Because that next fight because the fights without the shatter, usually shatter is not enough to win a team fight. You have to be pretty tactical with that, you have to be pretty skillful. They have to not block your shatter. It's one of the ultimates that you can outplay with relative ease compared to trying to like out DPS a sound barrier. Like, it's easier to get through a shatter. So Boise State lost a total of 3 big team fights that were ultimate based. So we lost 2 of those to really, really well-placed shatters.
Yep.
We lost 1 of those because 3 of the team members pressed Q at once, and it's not really necessarily reasonable to expect yourself to win those sorts of fights when both teams are similarly skilled, which they are. Boise State Orange and Midland have both shown to be very, very good, very, very qualified teams, and so you can't really expect yourself to win a fight where they're using 3 ultimates when both teams are the same level of skill. However, what you can expect from yourself and what Boise State must get better at if we want to win is blocking and countering Ryan Shatters. Because Shatter single-handedly won Midland the 2 fights that they needed to completely cap that point.
Got 2 shatters, 8 men stunned by Noro there. And then he also had like a triple kill where he also just threw himself off the edge. I mean, Noro right now putting a great case on of how to play Reinhardt effectively. So, yeah, I mean, you nailed it, D'Angelo. How do they cannon under the Reinhardt? And then also the sneaky one is, how do they counter Scout on the Echo? He's been getting a ton of value as well. So I'm going to be very curious to see how Boise State takes care of that. You can see the players there going to try and regroup on the stage, figure out how they want to go from here. As we talked about, we'll play all 3 maps regardless. Boise State still could be victorious, but the Orange team unfortunately going to drop down to at least 9-1 on the year in terms of map victory, so they're now equal with Boise State Blue, who's also dropped 1 map to this Midland squad. So you know this is a very talented team. So
yes, absolutely. When you can take a map up both of the first and second seed teams, you are obviously a force to be reckoned with, and Boise State will in fact have to reckon with them here.
You see the members of both teams, What Sky, Scout, Shiloh, Noro, and Chatter for Midland, Narbles, Rezo, Quidgible, Icy, Beanie Bum, and Pleb for the side of Boise State Orange. Going at it in the NECC. The Broncos right now, the 1 and 2 teams. They have not lost a single game, but they have now both dropped a map, both to Midland. So Boise State Orange got their work cut out from them. I'll be curious to see if we see the Sombra that we've seen a ton come out from both teams going to be picked up here now that we're going on to Escort, and how the teams want to handle it.
I think Sombra is definitely one thing that we need is Frost on our Sombra. He is Boise State's most comfortable Sombra player on both teams, both Blue and Orange. He is the most comfortable Sombra player that we have and the one that tends to get the most value. However, the dominance of the Reinhardt will be somewhat map dependent. Because if you go for a map like Gibraltar, like the Reinhardt is just food in the bottom of the barrel again, especially if Boise State's running a Winston Diva. So countering the Reinhardt, Boise State is actually relatively lucky on, because in this meta, Reinhardt is extremely map dependent. So that is something going for them. But also, we really should just pull out this Sombra.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to be going to Kings Row here as we go to Hybrid next. And doesn't look like for now Boise State's going to have the Sombra, but I'm doubting that May is going to be coming out. But you see Scouts on the May, so I'll be curious to see how he does. Really kind of shocked he didn't bring out the Echo, because Boise State has played the Echo on this map incredibly well at times.
Oh yes, absolutely. Echo tends to be the more meta pick for this map, but the meta isn't everything. However, I do believe we picked Kings Row to be sort of a Reinhardt v Reinhardt map, and that looks like that's exactly what's happening. So I do believe that a challenge was issued by Midland's Reinhardt, and I do believe that Icy is answering to that, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, you see nearly identical comps, Diva and Reaper on the side of Boise State. The only change is against the Zarya and the McCree on Midland side. Maywall going to come up. It looks that time from Scout, trying to block off Boise State's push in. Boise State going to go in on the backside here. Going to force the cryo freeze immediately. Quidgible dropping incredibly low. He's at about 50%, and so is Rezo. Narbles just gets eliminated off the face of the map. And Boise State now without that May, they're going to get slammed in there with the wall and maul. Unfortunately, it's going to cost them. Noro on the side of Midland. Doesn't look like the rest of the team was there to back it up as they're around the corner sitting on the point. Rezo's going to get another one there, already up at 60% on the Death Blossom. Coalescence coming out already from Pleb. Going to use that one to help stabilize Boise State and push some damage. Going to see right now Scout going down as well. Sky should be the next target. Maybe able to blink away right into the face of Rezo. Finally able to get that one, and Boise State going to get the payload incredibly quick.
Absolutely fantastic first fight win by Boise State. We had a little bit of an oopsie by way of Narbles, but I do believe that he has learned from that. And it was good that that oopsie happened in a fight that Boise State ended up winning anyway, because now he's learned from it and hasn't cost us a fight or a point or whatever. Going into this next fight, though, we really need to be wary of their grab. However, we do have the grab hard counter, which is Diva. So this next fight will come down to whether or not Diva is able to eat the grab.
That grab was just a huge whiff, unfortunately, from Shatter. That thing hit the side of a wall. Deadeye's going to come out from what? And a 5-man Shatter from Noro shuts down Boise State. Rezo, the only one to get an elimination, but that's another team kill on the back of a huge Shatter from Noro.
Yes, an absolutely huge Shatter, which is really interesting because they completely whiffed the grab, but who needs a grab when you have complete team Shatter there? And that will fall to Boise State to get better at shield management and playing corners.
Looks like Chatter Narble's going to trade Rezo for Noro, but Boise State right now doesn't unfortunately have to worry about the Shatter. He just used it. They are going to get the Cryo Freeze coming out from Scout. Does look like they're able to punish him. Diva Bomb going to get him as he tried to retreat. Good job there by Quidgible, getting one and allowing Boise State to push forward. One man back on the payload, pushing it. Boise State. It is Rezo, which is an interesting choice because he has the Death Blossom available. Looks like you can see Beanie Bum as well off behind him, helping push it. And right now, Boise State just trying to get to the second point. They have a ton of ultimates available, all 5. So we saw Quidgible just use his up for grabs, the Blizzard and the Sound Barrier up for Midland.
Yes, absolutely. And as long as Boise State uses ultimates correctly, particularly the big one that you're going to want to watch for is Boise State getting value out of the Blizzard and, surprisingly, the Coalescence. If we get value out of those ultimates, we will cap this point.
Blizzard going to kick things off from Narbles there. Scout going to throw his down as well. So we're going to have the battling Venn diagrams, and it looks like both Sound Barriers going to be used to any damage. Deadeye does give one onto Icy, who I believe was frozen by Scout's Blizzard. Going to not be able to put up the shield. Rezo's going to be forced to get away. Quidgible going to be hop act in his mech. But Rezo gets picked around the corner. Interesting hit scan coming out there from the Blizzard computer system, but it's going to cost Boise State.
Yes, it absolutely is going to cost Boise State. They got more value out of our Blizzard than we did. And the Coalescence just simply wasn't enough to keep him up at that point in the face of the Deadeye and the entire enemy team. So Boise State will have to come back, but we do still have Death Blossom and Chatter. So we have a good shot.
Grab's gonna come. Icy unfortunately tries to Shatter and gets thrown off, so he's gonna miss. Noro's got his Shatter, and this has been the team fight winner for Midland. He's gonna throw it down and completely whiff, so Boise State catches a break. Unfortunately, Quidgible, he's actually gonna die on the kill screen before his mech did. That's a little bit interesting, but it's gonna be the same result, and that's gonna be a near team wipe there for Midland. They're pushing Boise State all the way back.
Yes, they are pushing Boise State all the way back. We used a lot of ultimates that fight. Both teams did. Neither one of them really got a ton of value. However, for the side of Midland, what won them the last ultimate engage was the Blizzard Deadeye, and they do have that up again after just one fight.
Now taken low. Doesn't look like he's going to cryo freeze for now. We do have Rezo swapping over to the Hanzo there, so we'll see if he can get any sniper action going and at least punish the side of Midland. Coalescence is going to come out. Narble's going to use the Blizzard as well. That takes down Noro. What's going to use the Deadeye? Bang, bang, bang. Nothing but hit markers, and Boise State's going to keep pushing forward. Does get Quidgible out of the mech, but we'll see if that matters. Blizzard's going to be thrown down by Scout, but he's going to go down in the process, and no one's going to get frozen. Chatter gets Rezo, but that's all Midland has to show for it right now. This should be enough for Boise State to get to this second checkpoint. It will be. Sky going to commit the Coalescence, potentially a bit late here. He's going to get sniped out by Narbles. Great job, and Boise State now might be well on their way to that next point.
Fantastic job there. Narbles is like, you out-May-ulted me once, never again. Here we go. And then he got fantastic at value out of the May Blizzard, with pushing in with both of his tanks. Both Icy and Quidgible enabled him to get that humongous Blizzard and deny the Deadeye value.
It's like a what's going to swap over to the Hanzo, so a May Hanzo compound, something I expect to see here tonight. But Rezo's going to get the first one. You see the Diva Bomb Sound Barrier come out for Boise State. Grab Sound Barrier comes out for Midland, and no one's going to get much of anything. Shatter lands onto Chatter. Noro's going to get a 4-man Shatter. Can anything stop this man? Apparently, yes, Boise State can by just surviving barely through it. Icy goes down, but Pleb's going to use the Coalescence. Shiloh's going to get a boost off the edge onto Rezo. Pleb's going to get one onto Noro, though, so the team's staying relatively easy. If Boise State tries to get around this corner that's been ever so difficult, as without a full team wipe, the respawns are going to be fast enough.
Yes, absolutely. Now we're pushing into the territory where they have respawn advantages instead of it being relatively even. Their Diva also has the high ground.
Rezo gets a pick on one. That's good for Boise State. Second time in a row, he's won the battle of the Hanzo. See if Boise State can capitalize. Dragon Strike is going to come out. See if sort of splitting the team of Midland. Blizzard going to be used by Scout and Narble. Looks like the only freeze right now going to go on to Noro.
Nice.
Unfortunately, 2 members of Boise State going to get frozen. Narbles will fall down, but he's the only one taken down. Dragon Strike going to come out from what? Don't quite see it on the map, so he must have just completely whiffed or that one. Actually, no, never mind. It got eaten by Quidgible. There it is on the kill feed, and Boise State right now, that's the value you want from your Diva. Chatter going to be taken out of his mech. He will go down. Noro's tried to swap over. Shiloh boost off the edge. Boise State getting incredibly close to the victory there. Quidgible going to try and zone them off the point. He's going to pick up one onto Noro. They're 2 meters away. They just need to win a fight, and there they are. Body block works. And that's a huge shout out to Quinchable eating that Dragon Strike.
Oh yes, absolutely. Quinchible's a pro player, didn't you know? An absolutely amazing job eating that Dragon Strike, because at least one member of Boise State was already set up to die to that if he got it out. So amazing job by Quinchable there. Narbles, poor man, the noble sacrifice of his own life being sent back to spawn at the cost of both of their tanks and one of their DPS. So it was ultimately worth it, and it did end up tipping the fight in Boise State's favor so that they could cap the final point. That Narbles Blizzard was the kind of final push that we needed to get that there, and we did a really, really good job of sustaining until he got back.
As you mentioned, the first May ult went the way of Scout, and then never again, though I never did expect, after what we've seen with how dominating Sombra Reaper was, to be casting a May Hanzo DPS battle.
Yes, absolutely, and it does seem like Boise State is winning the majority of the Hanzo battles, so that's nice on the side of Rizzo there. Because their Hanzo was getting a good amount of value before, but it's really hard to get value when you lose the sniper duel, which he's done a couple of times, so we'll see if he's able to turn that around. However, we don't have Frost in play, so I'm not terribly surprised that we're not running a Sombra, because he is the most comfortable dominant Sombra that Boise State has.
Does look like Midland wants to stick with the Hanzo, and right now they're going to go back to the Echo. Scout played that so well on control, but Rezo might be able to get a nice little arrow snipe in the air. They also got Shiloh on the pocket Mercy, so that Echo is going to be a pain in Boise State side. You can already see pushing the Broncos back, going to allow a clean push around the corner. Maywall's going to separate the team. If Boise State gets some of that wall and maul going on, Rezo not able to get a headshot there, but he is in on the back line. No one from Midland saw him. See the Orb of Discord going to go on Quinchable, and Beanie Bum, the first one taken down by Scout, who has been incredible on that Echo. Sky's able to get one onto Rezo. You can see Narbles dropping low. Icy has been taken out, and Quinchable now going to be forced out of the mech. And this looks like for Boise State, they might have to give up this payload incredibly quickly. Narbles wants to contest, but he goes down as well.
Yes, yes, yes. Midland entered Boise State's single point cap with a single point cap of their own. Boise State had an amazing wall and a split there. We just didn't commit to pushing on either side. We didn't fully commit. We didn't have the DPS and our tanks in the same place killing the same people, and that is ultimately what lost us that point, because I don't believe we're going to get a retest, no. But now we hold next corner. But we hold next corner somewhat carefully because we are at a slight ultimate disadvantage.
This is where Midland burned a lot of time. Valkyrie going to be used. Coalescence on the side of Pleb. Doesn't look like anyone's been taken down quite yet. Good job by Shiloh to use that ultimate to help sustain the team. You do have the Echo ult online. Noro has the Shatter as well, which is even more scary at this point. There's now two Reinhardts coming in. Rezo's going to drop the Dragon Strike, able to pick up Sky. Scout's going to get Narbles, and the Shatter's going to land onto Boise State. And just like before, Noro is insane with these things. That's a team kill.
Oh yes, absolutely. Boise State is not ready for the Shatters right about now. So if you have not only a normal Reinhardt Shatter, but also an Echo Reinhardt Shatter, Boise State is definitely not ready for it. And the key to that is not only Icy shield management, but also the rest of Boise State playing corners, because in the current meta, it's not acceptable to expect your Rein to hold a shield the entire time like he used to be able to do for you. You have to some extent, dodge that yourself.
Here's a four-man Shatter, and one of them went down. We're going to get the Grab Dragon Strike combo coming out from Midland. It's going to be able to pick up Rezo, and the Warriors incredibly close to capping the second point. Icy trying to get a couple of picks. You can see Shatter has been brought incredibly low. Quinchable going to use the Diva Self-Destruct to try and reset his health, but it's not going to go off before he gets taken down. Noro picks up two more, and Midland right now with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to force overtime.
However, if Boise State wins this next fight, Boise State just has to win one fight, and then they can hold that final corner, which is the final choke on King's Row, where you can knock a lot of time off the clock. And we are looking pretty good there, as long as we can deny the Rein Shatter from killing everybody and play a little bit tricky around the Zenyatta. As long as we get the Zenyatta in the Blizzard or pick him early, Boise State has a very good chance at winning this next fight.
Oh, it's going to be used by Pleb. Rezo going to get one on the Scout. Valkyrie has been used, and Quinchable gets taken out of the mech. Holding on to that Shatter is both sides. Rez comes out, but another great pick onto Sky. Shatter going to be used onto Icy. He'll get one. Noro's completely whipped, and the Blizzard comes out from Narbles, and Boise State's able to pick up two off of that. Scout's still putting in some damage, though. He has his own ultimate. He's going to get just bang, bang from Narbles. Two in the head. He's going to put Echo to sleep, and Boise State's going to get that first hold.
Yes, absolutely. And this corner is one of the final choke points in King's Row, where you can hold and knock like 5 minutes off the clock or something like that. especially because Boise State is tending towards respawn advantages here. At that corner, actually, respawns are relatively close for both sides.
Second strike does come out, not able to get anything, but What's going to get one of his own. There it is on the Chatter, but What's picked up two. Beating him, I'm going to force to use the sound barrier to try and keep his team alive. Unfortunately, it's not going to be very effective. Chatter's going to throw down the grab, and Boise State's going to get near white, and they've got to get back quickly.
Yes, absolutely, they do have to get back quickly. We do get a full recontest as long as people don't get staggered right outside of spawn, but we are at an ultimate disadvantage because that Echo is sitting on Hurl.
Dragon Strike comes out from What, not able to pick up anything. Nor going to get stunned with Icy, but that was a huge body block. That stopped Icy from getting onto the point, and that's going to be overtime, and you can see the time advantage all on the side of Midland right now.
Yes, absolutely. Things are looking a little bit scary for Boise State in this game.
I believe it was 349 for Midland, 113 for Boise State. There you go. The Broncos going to have to work quickly. They're going to have to work efficiently, and we're going to have to see a first point hold for the first time all night if Boise State wants a shot here in overtime and at least stay alive in winning the overall series against Midland.
Yes, absolutely, Boise State. I do believe we have a shot, though. I do believe we have identifiable problems, one of which is the enemy Reinhardt. I do believe that Narbles on the May has been absolutely huge, but I think that if we had Frost or another Sombra in play, even if they weren't as skilled as Frost was, I do think it would do huge things against that Reinhardt, which is currently our primary problem, to be quite honest.
Boise State sitting orange, sitting at 3-0 in the NECC, trying to move to 4-0 and get halfway through the regular season without a loss. They have dropped their first map of the night on Control to Midland, same team that has taken the only map all season off of Boise State Blue. So you know the Warriors are a team Boise State wants to try and figure out how to play against. And I mean, Noro and Scout, that's the two you've got to shut down. I mean, the Shatters have been huge. Scout hasn't got the ult value we've seen from Echo, but he just gets the kill value out of Echo.
He just gets the laser value and just melts everybody.
Said Boise State, they've got to work quick, they've got to work efficiently. They have a third of the time that Midland has, and that's a great way to start it with the Rezo getting a pick on to What, once again winning the Hanzo battle. The lone bright spot so far for Boise State. Rez is going to come out, Beating Bum and Noro going to trade one onto Icy, one onto Sky, but that means Boise State is now without their main tank for a little bit of time. Bujibol dropping low as well. It's all Scout once again. What's going to go down? Can they get another pick onto Shiloh to stop the healing? Doesn't look like it for now. Doesn't look like they're able to get anything onto Naro as Rezo's going to fall onto the point. Well, Boise State's already lost about 45 seconds of their time. Bujibol going to be forced out of the mech, but Narvel's able to pick up Chatter. Coalescence comes out from Pleb. Boise State's going to get one more onto Shiloh. This should be enough to open up the point and at least cap it here. One tick down, and it looks like potentially Midland has just full retreated. You do see the Echo in the backline trying to get any value he can, taken incredibly low. Scout going to be hunted down there by Rezo. He is so far away from his team. Boise State can use this time to push.
Yes, absolutely, because they are effectively 5v6 right now. If Boise State just hard pushes into the enemy team, they don't have their Echo. They do have ultimate advantage.
Oh!
There it is.
That's what he gets. How can Boise State push while the Echo is down with the ultimate remains to be seen. Bujibol able to get back into the mech. Scouts online, but Boise State was able to get 30 or so meters without a contest. The first corners we've talked about, D'Angelo, the hardest one. Doesn't look like for now Midland is worried about that. They're going to go for a second corner hold. They do have 3 ultimates online. Boise State has just the one. And oh, by the way, Noro Shatter's 9% away. And he has been absolutely nuts with that. That's one headshot. Dragon Strike's going to come out. We'll see if Rezo can get any value. Bujibol forced out of the mech. Doesn't look like the Dragon Strike landed onto much of anything. Valkyrie going to be used. Scout going to copy. May ult's going to get 2 freezes. Chatter goes down, but Scout on the backline's getting huge value. Shatter comes out, and that might have just shut down Boise State. You can see 3 members down. Icy just barely staying alive. His Shatter will unfortunately whip. Narbles will fall as well. Pleb going to get swept. Overtime's going to end. Boise State, 1 point and 67 meters. That's going to be a tough hold.
A tough but doable hold.
Yes.
Because, again, both teams are similarly skilled, so if they can cut Boise State off there, Boise State can also has the possibility to cut them off there. I do believe that Narvel's ults and Rezo's picks will be the game changers here, because Narbles has had fight-winning ults, point-winning ults this entire game. However, Rezo has had the consistent kills, consistent damage, consistent headshots that we're looking for, so it actually wouldn't necessarily be too amiss to give him a mercy pocket. However, we're also just doing really, really well on the Moira Lucio.
Looks like for now, both teams planning for the full run back from what we saw. And it really has been the Scout and Noro show for Midland.
Yes.
I mean, one of the few times Noro didn't get a huge value shatter, but 2 members were already down for Boise State, so there's only so much he can do. And Scout, like we said, the ults haven't been there, but it's the laser value. It's just the picks he's been getting have been a thorn in Boise State's side, so he's got to be target number 1. Does it look like for now Midland on the Ana, not the Moira? I'll be curious to see how long Sky wants to sit on there.
Absolutely. And Boise State does have the advantage because in those Rezo v Scout duels, Rezo has the advantage now defending first point King's Row. The snipers have the advantage. And so it's going to be relatively difficult for Echo to push through this point and get value.
Garble's waiting there along with the rest of his team. No picks to speak of right now. Maywall's going to go down, separate the team. Shiloh dropping low, but so is Icy and Quidgeable. And it looks like Boise State's going to have to retreat. There's Scout again, able to get a great pick onto Icy.
Oh, no.
And that has opened up the floodgates for Midland. Quidgeable dropping low. He's taking out a mech. Narbles goes down. Binibo and Pleb going to follow. Let's go see Rizzo fall as well. And now Boise State's going to have the most epic of holds on point 2. It looks like they're going to have to concede the payload.
Oh yes, absolutely. They did not hold that first point very well. Their tanks were split too far from the rest of their team. And then instead of playing careful, we tried to go through 4 1v1 duels, which is not necessarily what you want to do in a team game.
Payload has unlocked. You see what taking damage, but you look at the ults, and everything but Pleb is below 50% for Boise State, and there isn't an ult below 60 right now for Midland. So the Broncos are going to have their work cut out for them in the slide. It's Dragon Strike online, so is that Shatter that has been a pain in Boise State's time. Coalescence going to be used. Scout also going to drop in. It's his own Reinhardt, but nearly gets taken down. He shatters immediately, and Boise State's able to dodge it. 2-man Shatter comes out from Noro. Boise State's able to survive, and the Broncos doing a great job surviving the 2 power ultimates from the side of Midland right now. Haven't found a pick though. What gets one on Narbles? Valkyrie has been committed by Shiloh. Boise State starting to run out of real estate as we see Rezo throwing in the Dragon Strike, unfortunately not able to land. Dragon Strike from what's going to come out, as well as the Nano Grab. That's going to pick up 3 for the side of Midland, and that all will about do it. Payload being contested. It's just Narbles left alive. What an alt combination from Midland, and they are going to secure a victory. We'll see if Boise State can at least take one of them up on the final map.
Yes, absolutely. Boise State, however, they did go into that fight with 5 ultimates, and it did take them all 5 of the ultimates spread out over a relatively large amount of time to take that point, because they whiffed the first 2.
Yep.
And then they just got a lucky pick on. They just got a pick on Narbles, which was partially because he was out of position, but also partially because they just kind of came into the middle of everybody and they were able to split and kill him. And once they did that, more than any of the other ultimates that they used, that was that had a lot of impact for them.
See the players, they're still up on the stage, still in high spirits. If you're interested in the Call of Duty 2019 Modern Warfare season wrapping up, we've got the Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational Multi-State Warzone Duo Tournament coming up October 10th, getting ever so close. If you're interested in registering and joining, Idaho Army National Guard, any of their social media links there at the bottom of the screen. Go check them out, get registered. These events are a ton of fun. Can't wait to see what happens, but right now I'm really hoping and can't wait for potential Boise State to at least get a final map here. And as you mentioned, D'Angelo, it took all 5 ultimates from Midland to win that point. And that's the first time that the Shatter didn't get huge value, but Boise State's still got to be ready because Noro has been insane on those. He's flipped a ton of fights with those Shatters.
Yes, absolutely. And we have gotten better at denying him value from those Shatters, which, again, shows to prove that Boise State is a learning team. The problem there was they got initial picks that they really shouldn't have been able to get. And then we didn't have any huge fight-winning ultimates. We didn't really, and again, it's unrealistic to expect it of yourself as a team or as a player to just completely sustain through 5 ultimates, which is what we were forced into the position of because of those picks on the side of Midland. And we did really, really well for going against 5 ultimates, but again,
Yeah, Boise State's going to have their work cut out for them, so Midland has at least put a blemish on the Boise State Orange record, knocking them from the ranks of the undefeated, so Boise State will be 3-1 after this. We'll see if the Broncos can at least pick up a map, because in NACC, they play all 3 maps regardless, so Boise State could at least finish with a 2-1 loss, much better on the overall record than a 3-0 loss as we head into Escort, and I'll be curious to see how Scout plays, because when he's been on the Echo, he's been unstoppable. When he hasn't been on Echo, it hasn't been that smooth sailing for Midland.
No, it has not been very smooth sailing for Midland at all without Scout on the Echo.
We hop in here. Does look like we got a sub for Boise State, as we've talked about. Frost, one of the best Sombra players for the Broncos, going to be in for Boise State when they need a map win the most. And we see What has gone onto the Sombra as well, Scout on the Reapers, so should be a full mirror. And right now you have to think maybe favors Boise State, because they've taken Noro and Scout off the 2 champions that have sort of dominated the Broncos in the first 2 maps.
Yes, absolutely. And now we have a little bit of a checkmate, ace up our sleeve, whatever you want to call Frost. We have him on the Sombra, and he is the Boise State Sombra player.
It's like What's still not quite figuring out what he wants to go. He's off the Sombra onto the Soldier, and immediately gets a great pick onto Frost. So that is going to shut down Boise State's hacks on the back line. You can see Narble's incredibly low. Actually, that was just apparently practice. Wait, no, never mind. We're hyping right back into it. Not the stream, because the camera knows. The camera wants a reset for Boise State, because right now, different heroes, same result for Midland.
Yes, absolutely, same result for Midland there. They got the initial pick on Sombra, which has been huge in winning them fights and winning them maps. However, Boise State does get a full recontest here if we clean reset, which it looks like we is. We are.
Seconds.
Looks like we reset again. We got back in time, because now we're preparing again. Some funky things going on. We'll have to see if it is the same end result. Maybe we just had a hiccup there in the system. We'll be curious to see. If What swaps over to the Soldier, you know it's the same result. We'll have to wait and see.
3, 2, 1.
Nope, apparently. Oh yeah, I think this might be. We'll have to see. I'm curious. So there's it over to the Soldier. So I definitely think we're going to see the same fight over. Just a small hiccup in the system. You see the hack onto Scout. Yeah, there's the pick onto Frost. So we know, spoiler alert, Midland's going to win this one on the blue side. So Boise State going to be forced for a reset here as we see how the fight played out from a different angle. What going to get another one? Shiloh gets one, and here we go. Now we see how Boise State contests.
Yes, and Route 66 is much like Havana, a point where you can get a lot of advantage by holding outside of their spawn. You can get as much, the idea is to basically hold outside of their spawn, get as much value as you can, get as much time off the clock as you can, and then with a team as mobile as this, you come back for a full, relatively normal recontest.
How Boise State can get the recontest. A lot of pressure going to be on Frost to get those hacks out, caught out, but he's going to get one right back. Hacks What immediately gets the elimination. You can see Boise State doing a great job trying to take care of Midland right now, who has the high ground. The Broncos pushing them back. Scout is going to get one back, though, onto Icy, so the teams have traded 1-for-1. Coalesce is going to pick up one. What back in the fight? He'll get one of his own. Quintuple going to take Chatter out of the mech. Sky does have the Coalesce. He's going to commit it to the fight as well, but a great disengage for Boise State. They need to try and get Chatter out of the Baby Diva performance. See, Narbles has been hopped on. Tactical visor by What going to be committed. Looks like Boise State's going to do a great job zoning away from that one. Quintuple going to throw down the Diva Bomb. Not able to get anything, but should potentially be able to reset his health. Doesn't matter. Immediately taken out once again. Hack onto Scout did nothing more than just prevent him from Wraith walking away. And Boise State unfortunately going to lose another fight.
Yes, absolutely. Boise State is going to lose another fight because they pushed forward just a little bit too far around that corner on Route 66 into What's respawn.
Once again, Boise State has not found out a way to deal with this Soldier. They got one pick on him, but he has been incredible. Midland doing a great job on some more off-meta heroes, if you say. We saw some May play as well. Frost still going to get a 4-man EMP. Unfortunately, he missed Shiloh, though, so the sound barrier should be able to shut down Boise State, which will take it out of the mech. Meanimo's not able to get the sound barrier down. Death Blossom is canceled out, though. Narble's not going to throw his own Death Blossom in. He's able to pick up Noro. Chatter's going to throw down the Diva Bomb. Boise State line of sight does a great job moving away from that one. Gets right back on the point. Quintuple back in his mech. Primal Rage and Coalescence committed by both sides there. Noro holding on to his Primal Rage, at least for now. Looks like he's going to wait for his team to get pushed back, and Narvel's going to go down. So Boise State, even with that excellent start, still hasn't found a way to get a clean win. What incredibly low, but right now Boise State hasn't been able to capitalize on it. Icy going to be the next target. He will be melted. Tactical Visor committed once again from one, his second one before a point is even captured, and Quidger going to be forced out of the mech by that, and Frost gets only one onto Chatter's mech, and that's a point cap for Midland.
It is the point cap for Midland. Midland got more value out of their ultimates than that fight than we did, and so that ended up winning them the long battle.
Yeah, great job by Shiloh, dodging the EMP, allowed him to sound barrier as soon as it came off. And as we talked about, sound barrier is good to cancel one, and he did a great job canceling that EMP.
Yes, he absolutely did an amazing job canceling that EMP. They were Midland was absolutely prepared for that Sombra EMP. There's no way that they weren't, because that Lucio just hit very, very low.
Sky dropping incredibly low, so is what? A couple of tanks for Boise State low, and Icy's going to be the first one taken out. Quidgeable going to use the D-Bomb to try and reset his HP. The bomb will go off, but Quidgeable will go down. Bronco's now without a tank. Frost has the EMP. Coalescence up for Pleb. Sky has his Coalescence as well, and you can also see a couple ultimates for Midland, but once again, Frost will get caught out here, and Boise State going to lose another fight.
Yes, and now Boise State is at a huge ultimate disadvantage as they go into this next point. However, how quickly they cap third point will depend on the ultimates they use
There was a flaw in my
to win this next fight.
5 up for Midland, 2 up for Boise State with the Death Blossom and Sound Barrier potentially coming up in this fight if they can avoid an early pick. Right now, Payload's pushing. Coalescence is going to be used by Pleb. 4-man EMP going to be used. Narwhal's going to combo with the Death Blossom. Shiloh did get the Sound Barrier out, but it wasn't enough to keep Scout alive. Hack onto Chatter going to come out. Tactical Visor committed by what? And that's going to immediately answer with 2 back. Sky uses the Coalescence. He'll get another one. Narwhal's falls to the 3-man Tactical Visor. Noro gets one more. Frost the only survivor with that second point for Midland.
That was an absolutely huge tactical visor for the side of Midland, and a huge sound barrier, because the sound barrier is what kept him alive there. So Shiloh's ability to dodge EMPs has proved not only fight winning, but also point winning for Midland there. It's actually been just really fantastic to watch the level of Lucio play coming out of Shiloh right now. However, it did take Midland almost all of their ultimates to win that point. So now Boise State is sitting at the ultimate advantage.
Boise State, this might be a great place to start the hold. The only ultimate in the game right now available is Shatter's Diva Bomb, but Boise State, as you mentioned, D'Angelo getting much closer to theirs. Primal Rage, the first one to come online for the Broncos, and right now Icy might have to pop it. He's dropping incredibly low. You can see Quidgeable and Frost both low as well, and Boise State's going to lose both of their DPS. Quidgeable forced out of the mech as well. He will go down. Pleb will fall. Icy going to go down. Will Beanie Bum be the surviving member? He will not, and Broncos now probably have one more fight left if they want to hold on here.
Yes, and if we get a clean wipe on this next fight, we will be able to knock quite a significant amount of time off of that 2-minute clock. It's just a matter of whether or not we'll be able to win this fight, coming in relatively staggered in an unideal situation.
Coalescence used by Pleb to kick things off. Frost got to get to that EMP incredibly quickly. Quidgeable going to lose the mech, but he's going to Diva Bomb to start. He's going to get one onto Chatter, but the Tactical Visor from one's going to pick up 2 more. Death Blossom from Scout's going to continue the damage onto the Boise State backline. Icy forced to use the Primal Rage, but he has fallen. Scout gets 2. Beanie Bum going to use the Sound Barrier to try and keep him and Pleb alive and keep contesting the point. You see Boise State has gotten a respawn from their first 3 members, but unfortunately it's not really going to matter. It's what's going to get one onto Pleb. Quidgeable forced out of the mech almost immediately. Narbles will fall down to Scout. Frost, the last man there, not even able to get the EMP off. And with a minute 35 on the clock, Midland's able to cap the third point.
Yes, this has been a relatively close map, and this map, whoever wins this map will come down to who is able to use their ultimates more efficiently, which so far has been Midland, with the Tactical Visors getting 3 members of Boise State every time he pops it, and then with Shiloh having the beat ready for every 5-man EMP that we have. Who wins or loses this map will be determined by who gets more value out of their ultimate, and it has been, so far, Midland.
Boise State got taken to overtime on Kings Row before falling. They were able to burn more time off the clock this time. Midland only has a minute 35 left, but Boise State's got to be quick. Don't really recall Midland losing more than 1 or 2 fights along the way in their push, so I'll be curious to see how Boise State wants to handle it. Same comp for Boise State. Midland right now looks like they've traded out. They're going to put an Ash on the side of Scout.
Yes, this is another map where things have been very, very long engages, and if you're defending, it's not necessarily a bad thing if the fight lasts like 50 seconds like most of these fights have, because you're trying to run out the clock anyway. So even though Midland has won the majority of fights, they have been long enough that they only have over a minute on the clock as opposed to 2 or 5 minutes.
Boise State, I mean, you mentioned it, D'Angelo. They've got to figure out, one, a way to get more value out of their ultimates, and two, a way to shut down the soldier. Maybe if Frost gets the single-man hack when the tactical visor comes out, because what is averaging about a triple kill when he pops. It will kick things off.
Yes.
See how Boise State can respond. Midland got 3 picks when they were on the offensive end. Can Boise State answer back? Quadruple taken low right now. So is Narbles. Beanie Bum as well. The Boise State health bar is finally all going to stabilize. You can just see how much damage Scout is doing already at 55% on his ultimate. Quadruple force out of the mech. Going to be taken down there by what? That's a 3-man anti going to land on the Pleb, Beanie Bum, and Narbles. None of them going to go down, and they are able to stabilize. You can see Icy taking a ton of damage. Quadruple has gotten back up and alive, but the health bars for Midland have barely moved at all.
Yes, as we're sitting here we're having a rough time trying to like find a foothold or a pick so that we can push forward.
Chatter doing a great job. He has spotted out Frost. Well, Icy's going to be the first one taken down there by What, who's just kind of holding the high ground alongside of Scout, who has the bomb online. So Boise State's got to be wary of the next fight whenever he wants to pop it. Narbles falls down. Frost, Quadruple, and Pleb all incredibly low. Frost going to join his DPS buddy there in the graveyard, and the Broncos, you can see, all going to fly back. They've got to disengage.
Yes, we've got a hard reset. We've been just kind of running around for a solid 40 seconds now, but now we're hard resetting so that we can come back for a full 6 team fight.
Ultimate advantage on the side of Midland. They've got Nano Bob, and that's going to be procs along with the tactical visor. Soundbarrier going to come out. What gets the first one there? The shield from Soundbarrier all but taken care of. Flood with the Coalescence going to retreat as well. What gets another one? Beam has been anti. He should be able to escape, it appears. Narble going to be taken out, though, by the Tesla cannon, and Boise State still looking for their first elimination.
Boise State is still looking for their first elimination. However, the value that Frost gets out of this next EMP, because they don't have a beat and because they have ultimate advantage, the value that Frost gets out of this next EMP will determine how quickly Boise State is able to cap this first point. There's a lot riding on Frost for this next fight, as you can see as he's getting ready for it.
No. On to Noro. Diva Bomb's going to come out from Shatter. It's going to pick out Beanie Bum. Boise State down 2. And Midland, you can see from this view, has done a great job of spreading out their members so that no 4 or 5-man EMP was even possible. They have been forced to retreat. This might be Frost's time to shine. Unfortunately, they're going to have to do it without Quadruple, who's been taken down and out of the mech. Icy's barely able to survive. He gets stabilized. EMP Blossom is online for Boise State, and they're starting to run out of time, so they've got to find a way to get onto this point and start to fight quickly.
Yes, absolutely. We've got to find a way to get value out of that EMP that we can now potentially combo with either Bomb or Blossom, and it looks like we're trying to set up to combo it with the Bomb.
There's the 4-man EMP. Nano went out to Noro before it happened. Right now, Boise State really not using either the Bomb or the Death Blossom. They're only able to get Chatter's mech.
There it is.
Finally, Narbles pops the Death Blossom. He's able to get 2. Sky gets Narbles, though, but he's going to have to pay for it with his life. Scout will go down. Valkyrie was used and able to get a res onto What, but we'll see at what cost, as we see that What's now basically the last man standing. You have to wonder why Scout never brought Bob into the fight.
Yes, absolutely. You do have to wonder why Scout never brought Bob into the fight. Maybe they're hoping for a last-minute contest or something of that nature, but however, Boise State does have an ultimate advantage to kind of like deny any sort of last-minute cheaty touching that they're going to try to do.
Noro's going to hop in. There is the Bob for the last second contest. Chatter going to get stunned. Primal Rage going to come out from Noro. Chatter going to knock out of the mech, but Noro and Sky going to get 2. Bob adds a 3rd one to the kill count for Midland. Quadruple has at least got 1 on to What. Icy's still holding on to the Primal Rage at least for now. It doesn't look like he's going to pop it. Now he will pop it, but he's going to get immediately slept. Great play by Sky. Diva Bomb from Quadruple going to try and zone off the members, but it's not going to land. There's Sky going to get punished for that sleep. Quadruple forced out of the mech, and Boise State now in overtime cannot afford to drop this fight, and that's not how they want to see that start, with both their tanks going down. Scout is low. Soundbarrier committed, but it's not enough to save Narbles. In overtime, Boise State's looking for a miracle right now. Was going to pop the tactical visor. He was incredibly close to dying. Dynamite's going to pick up Pleb. Frost and Beanie Bum, the only 2 left to fly. Scout and Noro going to take care of that. Chatter's going to throw down the Diva Bomb. It's not going to matter. Midland shuts down Boise State, and the Broncos suffer their first defeat of the NEC, at least least the orange team they'll go down 3 maps to nothing.
Yes, Boise State did, in fact. And like I said, Route 66, it all came down to ultimate usage. They had that bob to touch the last second of point, and then the rest of them got there, and the rest of them were able to get there and not stagger on, and so they were able to get a full 6v6 fight because of that bob. Even while he was hacked, he still contests the point, and then he was able to get the pick on pleb, which is absolutely huge, because if your Moira's dead, you're basically out of the fight.
Take a look at the standings there. Boise State Blue is sitting at 3-0 with an 8-1 map record here as we get the updated standings. So looks like Orange still holding on to a slight lead, but Midland's going to have the tiebreaker. Boise State did give Becker their only loss as well. There we go. So the Broncos still on top, but the gap between Orange and third place shrunk very, very quickly there with Midland picking up their second victory. You can see New England and Illinois both sitting at 2-0, so potentially could be moving into either a tie for first, or if New England can 3-0 their next opponent, they would move in to the first place spot at 3-0 and 9-0 overall. So Boise State still at the top of the standings, still where they want to be. This is an 8-week tournament, so the Orange squad halfway done at 3-1. Not a place that you want to complain about, but you can definitely see that Midland's going to be a thorn in their side. You take a look at the upcoming schedule, a ton of NACC all over the place, Rocket League, Valorant, and Overwatch, which Boise State Overwatch and NACC has been incredible as well as also in Rocket League. I think they're actually playing each other here very, very soon. Can't wait for that one. Mountain West League of Legends coming up next Tuesday. Rocky Mountain Warzone tournament as well. Tournament season for Boise State, and besides tonight, it's been a lot of victories.
Yes, it absolutely has been a lot of victories for Boise State, and Boise State will improve based upon this game. This game wasn't necessarily very reflective of all the individual players to the best of their ability, because we've seen them play better, we've seen them play worse. It's just that they happen to take advantage of Boise State not playing at their best today.
Yeah, so now you know Midland, a force to be reckoned with. They gave the Orange squad their first loss. They're the only team, as you saw in that 8-1 record, to take a map off of Boise State Blues. So definitely a team Boise State wants to be on the opposite side of the bracket at, as we take a look here at our top 5 plays from tonight from Midland taking down Boise State.
And we're opening up with the Death Blossom. Probably, it looks like, the Reaper ult? Or no, just a Reaper play in general.
Reaper play, yeah.
There were definitely lots of those huge DPS plays. I imagine some of the upper tier plays are going to... I mean, you're not going to see a sound barrier play of the game, but I absolutely think that at least 2 of those should be Shiloh denying the entire team EMP.
And this is the one thing we talked about, where Boise State as a learning team definitely grew. As we mentioned, Narble's got outplay on the first May ult. Doesn't look like we'll see one here, but he definitely was able to counter, I believe it was what on the May, and shut down those blizzards and get a couple of great picks there. And King's Row was the best map we saw from Boise State all night. They did a great job, dropped in overtime, but I loved how the Broncos played on King's Row.
Yes, the Broncos did play very, very well on King's Row. Narbles in particular was the star of that map with his learning and the betterment of his map.
Yeah, and the first map on Control definitely, I mean, as we talked about, it was a very, very quick map. Only 3 team fights total. 2 went over to the side of Midland, and that's how they ended up winning. But Boise State did a great job stalling out. That's, like I said, the first map in Kings Row where we saw Boise State at their very, very best.
Yes, absolutely. We saw Boise State at their best tonight. And as we see the play of the games go higher and higher, I can't feel just at least a little bit bitter that Shiloh, with our 2 complete... Because you win a fight. If you EMP 5 of the enemy team, you usually win a fight, except unless the sound barrier comes up and is just a hero to everybody.
And we've seen that from Boise State a couple of times with their members Beanie Bum and a large bagel dodging it. And this is where you thought maybe Boise State had some life. Thought the Death Blossom might have been a tad late there. Couldn't combine it with the EMP, but the Broncos dominated in this fight. But I think it did help that Scout held onto the Bob. He was waiting for that re-engage, and that has ended up where Midland took them down. So that was our top 5 plays. A great night overall. We got some high school action in here. We got Boise State in the NACC. Ton of Overwatch, a ton of learning experiences all the way around for Boise State, because we talked about it for the high school event, D'Angelo. Sometimes a loss easier to learn off of than a win.
Oh, yes. A loss is much easier to learn off of a win, because if you win, you're just like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Does look like we have our player of the game potentially coming up here. Be curious to see who it's going to be. Any nominations from you, D'Angelo?
I'm kind of hoping Narbles, to be completely honest, because he just kind of embodied what Boise State does, which is learning, especially in that Kings Row map, and then also in later maps as well.
So here we go. I think that it would be a great choice, as Narbles was spectacular. Starting off with I don't know if it was Buzzer King. He was really great, though. Boise State could have maybe used some of those EMPs in their map, but it looks like it potentially could be Rezo, and looks like that's who we're focusing on. So I would have to think that it would be Rezo as the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, at least for now.
Yes, absolutely. Rezo with those amazing snipes and the amazing denial of the Midland DPS. When he was able to get his angles, he was able to win fights and get the picks that we needed and stop them from pushing, which is all you can ask of the DPS, to be completely honest, and he did that to an amazing degree.
Yeah, the DPS on Kings Row were the bright spot for Boise, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Narbles improving with the May ult, and then Rezo first on the Reaper, and then him and Watt had a great, there it is, Rezo is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Him and Watt had a great pair of Hanzo duels, and Rezo, you ended up winning quite a few of those.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Watt got the 3-man Dragon Strike to win the map at the very end. But huge congratulations to Rezo on his Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success. Rezo, a great reason why Boise State was so successful on Kings Row, and that is why he is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Boise State, a lot to learn from this. They've still got to be happy in an 8-week regular season that the Orange team's sitting at 3-1. Definitely Midland, the team you probably don't want to be on the same side of the bracket of if we get to playoffs, but be curious to see how Boise State handles this loss going forward in the rest of the NECC.
And it's still an amazing day to be a Boise State team because we're still first and second seed.
Yep.
Even after a loss. That hasn't really changed much in terms of standings. So I'm still really, really proud of our Broncos, and I hope all of the viewers are too.
Yeah, you've got to be happy that Boise State, as we said, sitting at the top of the NECC, also sitting at the top of NACC, I believe, as well, which we'll see coming up later. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. We've got more action coming your way tomorrow, so you want to make sure you join us for Valorant and then another game going on as well, depending on what we have available. So, as D'Angelo said, you got to be happy if you're a Bronco fan, even after how the night wrapped up, because Boise State's still first and second in the NECC, but some improvement definitely can come along the way. Well, big shout out to the players for coming into the arena. Big shout out, thank you to you, D'Angelo, for joining me in production and chat as well, making the night all the more enjoyable. But that is going to be the wrap for us tonight. Join us tomorrow for more Boise State action, but until then, have a great night.